Hey boys and girls, week 5, lesson 16, day 4, page 6 and 7. We have 3 word problems today. And the word problem that we're going to start with goes with more about rounding. Now you're probably thinking the rounding one is fun to do the rounding part, but then you got to do the same exact thing again, and then we have to assess our reasonableness. I will give you a hint. You have to get really good at doing this question. They're going to be tested. I'm going to give you a test question that's very similar. Now, my numbers won't be as high, but my tape diagram, I'm expecting you guys to be able to do this since we've done several of them in class. So here we go. Martin's car had 86,456 miles on it. Of that distance, Martin's wife drove 24,901 miles, and his son drove 7,997 miles. Martin drove the rest. How many miles did Martin drive? Round each value to estimate. Now notice, unlike yesterday, they don't tell us what place value to go to. So they're forcing our hand here. So before we do this, we kind of got to think about this. We got to kind of decide what would be our best bet. We probably want to make it fairly reasonable. I know you probably at home going, oh, let's round it to whatever makes it easiest to add. Let's not do that. Let's try to make this as reasonable as we can. So if we rounded this, then there's 10 thousandths place. That would go to 90. That would go to 20. And that would go to 10. So we're close to 3,000, 3,000 away, 4,000 away, and 4,000 away. Now one of them we're rounding this up and the other one we're rounding this down, so they kind of cancel each other out. Not too bad, you know what I mean, boys and girls? This is going up to 90, so too high, and this one's going down to 20, so too low. 10,000 place wouldn't make too bad, but then look at this next one. This would go up. So we got 2 of them going way high, and this one's going low. So let's try, I'm thinking maybe the thousandths place might be our best bet here versus the 10,000ths place. So Martin drove 86,000. So again, we're taking a step out, but if you need to rewrite these off to the side and do them on your own, you can. I want you guys to set up a tape diagram with them rounded and show me what it looks like. Pause me. All right. Here we go. So hopefully you took 86,000. Again, we're going to the nearest thousandths place. So that's going to give me 86,000 exactly. That's our total. That's how much the car has of miles on it. Martin's wife drove 20. Whoops. I got to round it, Mr. B. 9 tells the 4 to go to a 5. Giving me 25. Good job so far if you've had those two. His son didn't drive it as much. Son drove it 8,000, so I'm going to make his a little smaller. And then I'm going to put an M for Martin. We got to figure out how many miles Martin himself drove. Good. Now I want you to pause me and solve it. Unpause me when you're done. Okay, so hopefully, boys and girls, you learned from yesterday's lesson and you realized you should add these first, then subtract them from the total. Now, it will still work if you go 86,000 minus 25,000 and then minus 8,000, but you're subtracting twice. That's the more difficult of the operations to do. I like to add these two together, then subtract it from my total, and that will give us how much we have. So I'm going to take 25,000 plus 8,000. 8 and 5 is 13. That gave me 33,000. That's how many miles his wife and his son drove. Now I'm going to go ahead and find out how much Martin drove, which would be 86,000 minus 33. I know you're probably like me and thinking, no, I don't want to do this all over again. So there you go. Martin drove 53,000 miles driven by Okay. So there's our about, our estimated. So when you see that, that's what we're doing. We're estimating. Now I'm going to do the same exact tape diagram. This time I want to know exactly how many miles did Martin drive. I want you to pause me and do this all on your own. I want you to set up a tape diagram. Remember, you're using the actual numbers. Do the math, and then we'll talk about if it's reasonable or not. All right, hopefully you have something very similar to me. Remember, you're using actual answers, the actual numbers. The real number is 86,456, 86456. His wife actually drove 24901, 24,901. And then the son drove 7,997. And then I'm going to add those two together first. Again, especially this one. Ooh, that does not look like fun to subtract from this to that and then subtract that from whatever your answer was. Ooh, just add these together and subtract once, boys and girls. So much easier. I like making your life easier. Don't have us do the same question twice, Mr. B. Sorry, it's the skill. It's the skill. We have to do it twice to see if we're reasonable. Make sure I copied 24901, not 7997. It's 8, 9, 18. 7, 8, 12, add the 4, 8 and 4 is 12, 32,898, which, remember, our rounded part, not too bad, we're not too far off. Now let's go ahead and find out our actual, 86,456. Hopefully you're just looking at this and checking it, not doing it with me. But if you need to, go back and see where you made your mistake. It's just like classwork. I'd walk behind you and I'd say, oh, look what you did here. So fix that, please. So here we go. Let's go ahead and subtract. Oh, the other regrouping I got to do. Give 10, take away 1. Give 10, take away 1. Give 10, take away 1. Woo! It regrouped literally all of it except for the 10,000s place. 8 and 8 is 16. 9 and 5 is 14. 8 and 5 is 13. Let's put a 5 here. And then 2 and 3 is 5. And then go down again. 8 and 3 is 5. So there we go. Our actual is 53,558. And if you actually paused it and you actually did the work, good job. Give yourself a nice little pat in the back. Feels good to get it right. Okay, so now it says, assess the reasonableness of your answer. Well, what do you think, guys? We're 500 off, and we rounded to the nearest thousands. I mean, we're not, hammering. We're really reasonable. I would throw that word fairly reasonable. We are off by 558. Okay? So again, if we went to a lower place value, I think we would be more reasonable, but then we would have had a lot more work to do up here. Okay? All right, let's go to our last two, and good for us. We have 2 more left, and we are done with our reasonableness, because next, I lied. Sorry, page 8, we'll have one more thing on finding our exact and finding our reasonableness. So here we go. A class read 3,452 pages the first week, 4,090 pages more in the second week than the first week. How many pages had they read by the end of the second week? Is your answer reasonable? Explain how you know using estimation. I was reading this and I was thinking, oh, they're making this very difficult for us. But right now, I've seen that this is not that tough. We're going to round this. Let's just go to the nearest thousands. I thought this was going to be a 2-step word problem. But it's a simple comparing here. I'm going to go class, first week. Let's go ahead and round that. Let's go to the nearest thousands. Second week. Read carefully. Hopefully you did not just put 4,000 for the second week, and 4,090 more in the second week than the first week. So they read a ton. And by the way, how many pages had they read by the end of the second week? That means we have to include this. That means we have to include the first week, then the second week. So this is, yes, 2 steps. So this would be 4,000 more. I love mental math though. 7 and 4. 4 and 3 is 7. And then pretty easy. 7 and 3 gives me what? 10,000 pages. Okay? So now let's go ahead and do our actual. How many pages had they read by the end? Is your answer reasonable? Explain how you know using estimation. We have to see if it is reasonable. Our first week. Second week is our first unknown. Into the unknown. Sorry, I love Frozen. 4,090. So I gotta add those two together, and that will give me my second week. So 3,452 plus 4,090 to 14, 5, 7. So 7,542. Whew. So now I gotta add those together. I know, boys and girls, we're gonna be off by quite a bit. Probably because, Mr. V, you went to the nearest thousands. You probably should have went to the nearest hundreds. And that's not what they're looking for, is did you pick the right one? They want you to assess the reasonableness. Remember that chart that I put on? Ooh, these numbers look very close together. Make sure I get them right. 7542, 3452. Sometimes your brain does opposite things. 2 plus 2, 4. 4 plus 5, 9. 9, 10. Yikes. What do you guys think? Yeah, I would say it is not reasonable. Not reasonable. It is 994 away. So that is quite far away, isn't it, boys and girls? Yes, there is way too high. Now, why is that? Let's take a look why. We went down on this number. We lost 400 on our answer. Then we only lost 90. However, we went down, so we lost 2 there. And then, whoops, when we added those together, this 500 is gone because we would have added those together. So we have 400 and that 5, that's where we're coming up with the difference, that 900. Because this went down, because you would have just had 3 plus, right, 4, which is 7. Well, 3 plus 4 and some more, it's going to be 7.5, right? That's why we were that far away. Okay, very difficult word problem here. I enjoy this word problem. It makes you think about it. A cargo plane weighed 50,000 pounds. After the first load was taken off, the airplane weighed 437,981 pounds. Then 16,478 more were taken off. What was the total number of pounds of cargo removed from the plane? And we are right now going to pause this, and I'm going to start. I know this is supposedly, I labeled it, but I don't want to go any further, guys, because this is at least a 4 or 5 minute question that I want you guys, and we're already at 15 minutes, and I think you guys worked so super hard. So I know we were supposed to complete page 7 and all of our questions. I want you guys to save this one for me to do together, okay? We're going to do this in class. This is one that I kind of want to have my hands on and see you guys and how we're thinking about this one. So, nice little breath of fresh air. Don't have to do this one. Don't exit out, because we're going to do this one in class. All right? Take care. Bye.